Hi, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the Let's Keep Moving with Risha podcast. This is Risha. I'm a motivational speaker, content creator, and I love talking about things that will help you keep moving in your life, especially on areas like your life, mental health, love, growth, and everything in between. So if you're ready, let's keep moving. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for being with me today. I see that you are also doing your thing in life, and I feel so grateful every time na I get to sit with the fact that people are spending half of their hour every single week for this episode or for this podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, I haven't been very consistent. I know. I think for the past few weeks, my content has always been 15 minutes to 18 minutes. But I'm so grateful that people are still listening. Kapag nakikita ko yung analytics na people are staying, like 50% of you guys are staying up until the end, it makes my heart so full. And maraming salamat for always supporting the show. I appreciate you. So today's topic is something that's been sitting on my heart for weeks now. And honestly, I feel like it's the exact conversation I would have wanted to hear during one of those random nights kung saan sobra akong mag-overthink about my whole life at around like 1 a.m. And feeling ko, hindi lang ako yung nakaka-experience ng ganito. I feel like everybody of us go through this. So if you're listening to this right now and you are in your 20s, or even just in a life season where everything feels like a one big question mark, this is for you. How do we really survive adulting? Kasi I get it. I really, really do. Being in your 20s is so wild. It's beautiful and exciting. It's full of freedom, but it's also terrifying and confusing all at the same time. You're at this point where society expects that you have to have it all together. Like you're supposed to be building a career, handling your finances well, or making smart life choices, keeping up with your relationships, maintaining your health, and somehow still having time to enjoy your youth. But the reality is, most days, it just feels like you're trying to survive, trying to make it through another week without breaking down, trying to balance all your responsibilities you never even asked for. And that's where I've been lately, and I have to be honest about that. Somewhere between trying to keep it together and trying to figure it all out, there's just this silent pressure that's always there. Like it's a constant voice in the back of your head asking na, am I doing enough? Am I so behind in life? Am I making the right decision or choices? And honestly, there were days where I feel like I was drowning in my own expectations. You know, expectations na wala namang nag-build, kundi yung utak ko lang. Expectations that my family do not even have for me, pero I just created it in my own head. If you're just like me the past couple of weeks, or if you're currently in the middle of this life season, then I'm excited to share you some wisdom that have helped me cope up with these expectations, with this endless overthinking. And if you really want to survive adulting, then let's do it together. Without further ado, let's keep moving. So ayun guys, alam nyo ba na nag-start na yung OJT ko? Exciting, I know, but terrifying, yes. Nung first day ko, actually, gusto ko na lang matapos. I thought I wouldn't enjoy it. But finishing the first week, in fairness and in all fairness, I find meaning in what the people there are doing. So I'm working with counselors, with psychometricians, with psychologists. So basically, the work is more of educational setting siya. So ang ginagawa namin is nag-administer ako ng mga college admission tests ng specific university na pinag-OJT-han ko. Ganong cycle lang every single day, 2 beses or 2 session maghapon. And in between nun, syempre may lunch, i-check namin yung mga test papers, tapos may mga other administrative tasks like preparing for webinars or checking of pre-deployment assessments. So, yun yung mga ginagawa namin. And actually, akala ko talaga, hindi ko siya ma-enjoy. But yun nga, surprisingly, na-enjoy ko siya. And I was just surrounded the past couple of weeks with people who are working, adults who are working. There was this one time na nalaman nila na nagaganito nga ako online. I was so shy, I was so embarrassed about it. Not because I feel embarrassed about the work I do here. I feel proud I do this. But it's just that I'm not ready for that conversation just yet. Kasi if hindi nyo na itatanong, when I get to be in such places, I'm so reserved. Like, super shy ako, super introverted. And so that conversation, I wasn't ready for it. But it happened. Nalaman na yung mga ginagawa ko. And nakakatuwa kasi super fascinated sila. And there was this one point nga na tinatanong nila na, okay, Risha, as a motivational speaker, what would you advise us? We are in our 40s, 30s. What's the best way to find meaning? And it was a joke at that time. Someone from the team, someone from the department is celebrating her birthday. So, tawa-tawa lang. But somehow it stuck with me. How do we really find meaning in adulthood? And how can we go through it? Not just survive, but thrive in adulthood. One of the biggest things that I've been learning recently is that adulting will humble you. It will make you realize that no one is coming to save you. It's very uncomfortable, pero it's true. At some point, you have to wake up and decide that you're going to have to take responsibility for your life, even when it feels overwhelming, even when you don't feel ready. The people I worked with the past months have humbled me. The past week specifically have humbled me. They made me realize that adulting will really humble you, even when you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. And for the longest time, I thought that if I just waited long enough, if I just waited for more time and everything, life would somehow sort itself out for me. That maybe papatak na lang yung mga sagot at kakatok siya sa kwarto ko or sa pintuan ko. And that one day, I'd just wake up and suddenly have it all figured out. Pero hindi pala dadating yung araw na yon. And I had to realize that no one else is going to live this life for me but me. No one else is going to decide what job I take. No one else is going to decide what career to pursue. No one else is going to decide what relationship is worth choosing. No one else gets to decide what success looks and feels like for me. And that the only person who can decide that is me. When they discovered my thing online, the question that they had that really stuck with me because I do not have an answer is that, what are my plans? What are my plans once I get into my graduation, once I finish school? And I have absolutely no idea what. Because I'm planning to take my master's in psychology or guidance counseling. Pero I'm still hesitant. Hindi ko pa alam what would be my biggest trigger to push through. And also, nabanggit din nila yung isa sa mga bagay na kino-consider ko in this season, which is just doing content creation full-time, TVC, or going to Manila to work. What are my plans daw? And somehow, that responsibility falls on me. And I'm so grateful to have met this kind of people who are open to both sides. Kasi ako, hindi ko alam yung pipiliin ko. And I'm so grateful to just meet people who are open to me doing either of these things. Kasi madalas, lumaki ako sa environment where feeling nila, alam nila yung mas better way to handle my life. And I would specifically mention this one encounter with my auntie. She's been working for a long time in the government sector. And ever since, I don't know, I do not have this urge to work in the government, mainly because I know the work there and I might not be a fit for it. And nung sinabi ko yung slight lang na plans ko not to work there, bigla na lang siya nag-comment na bakit, mas stable dito, ganyan. I get offended siguro a little lang, pero I have built a huge and a strong boundary already. And I understand that it's her story and I don't have any responsibility to follow that. And yun lang, feeling ko lang napaka-importante that even if yung choices mo as an adult ay hindi aligned sa choices ng mga adults na nakapaligid sa'yo, I hope that you take full responsibility for it. And whatever happens, be humble and take full accountability for it. Alam nyo, as an adult, taking responsibility doesn't mean na you have to do everything perfectly. It doesn't mean na you're supposed to have a 5-year plan or 10-year plan with every little detail mapped out. For me, it just means showing up for myself kahit na ayaw ko. Kahit na sa mga araw na ayaw ko. When I feel like hiding under the covers of my sheets, it means choosing to keep going. To send that application, to go inside that scary room, to go clean my room, to go for that interview, to have hard conversations when I know that I'd rather avoid them. It's really those small, sometimes boring daily decisions that build the kind of life I want in the long run. And it won't matter now. Sometimes small decisions are so tiny you can't even see the effect of it in your life. But eventually it will all make sense. And let's be real, no? There would be days when I feel like I fail at it. Days when I procrastinate. Days when I question my choices. Days when I cry because I feel so lost. But that's part of it. That's part of growing up. And every time I choose to stand back up, every time I choose to take even one small step forward, I always remind myself na I'm still making progress, even if it doesn't look perfect. And allow me to tell that straight to your face, okay? You are making progress. Even if that progress is not accepted by society or appreciated by someone close in your life, it's still progress. And hopefully you find joy in appreciating those. By the way, if you are enjoying this episode and you are learning from this one, I'd really appreciate it if you would give me a 5-star rating here on Spotify or YouTube. Like this video if you're watching from YouTube. I would really, really appreciate it. It will definitely help us reach more people and create meaningful content in the future. Let's now get back to the episode. That's the first thing. Sometimes adulthood can be humbling. And adulthood means taking responsibility for your actions, for your choices, and for what you're about to create. Another thing that's been hitting me lately is how dangerous it is to compare my timeline with other people. Social media kasi makes this so much harder than it needs to be. I talked about this in my previous episode na every time I scroll talaga, it feels like everyone around me is hitting major milestone. Someone's getting married, someone's getting promoted, someone's going abroad, someone's traveling the world, someone's trying their own business, someone bought their first home or first car. And there I was, just finishing my OJT, just trying to make it through the week, trying to figure out how to budget my groceries or my pangkape, trying to reply to emails I've been ignoring for days, trying to be creative, trying to figure out life on my own. But recently, ever since I became so much more grounded the past week during my OJT days, here's what I'm slowly learning. That life is not a race. And just because someone else is reaching their goals faster doesn't mean I am failing. We all have different starting points. And we all have different timelines set by God. And just because I'm not where I thought I'd be by now, doesn't mean that I am behind. It just means that I'm on a totally different track. One that's uniquely mine, one that's uniquely mine, and mine alone. And honestly, every time I rush decisions just to keep up with others, I end up always making choices that don't even align with what I truly want or need. Nafe-feel nyo ba yon na minsan kapag super triggered tayo ng mga ginagawa ng ibang tao or ng mga success or wins ng ibang tao, we tend to copy it and sometimes hindi pala siya align sa purpose and sa wants natin sa buhay natin. I've learned na peace comes pala when you embrace your own pace. When you stop forcing yourself to meet imaginary deadlines. When you realize na God's timing is never late at all. Even when it feels like it is. Hindi to late. I think part of adulting is understanding that no one is late, that everybody's just trying, and that you are trying. And all our efforts, all our hard work, lahat ng mga araw, oras, gabi na nagpupuya tayo, those dreams we're working hard on is not unseen. Hindi siya mapupunta sa waste just because wala pang results now. It's our way of planting seeds so that our future self will get to thank us for it. And I just wanna say na I hope you won't stop. I hope you pause, of course. Napaka-importante niyan. But I hope you won't stop. Stopping is only an option when you're on your deathbed. Stopping is not a choice made by you. Stopping is the choice made by the one who created you. And so I hope you don't stop. I hope you get to continue to live your purpose, your life, your joy, and your passion in life. So those are the two things. First is always see adulthood as an opportunity to be humble. That it's okay if we don't have it all together just yet. Make sure lang na we are taking responsibility and accountability for our actions. Second is, stop comparing yourself to others. We don't know their story, and therefore, just by not knowing it means that they've been through a lot as well. And instead of being or complaining about it, let's see it more as an inspiration that if it was possible for them, then for sure it's possible for me too. And I just have to be patient about it. And the last thing I want to share today, the one that's been giving me the most comfort lately, is this simple but very powerful reminder that you are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to start over as many times as you need to. I used to think before that once I made a decision, once I made such a choice, I had to stick with it forever. That every choice I make was final. That if I quit something or walked away from something I once wanted, it meant I failed. But life has shown me that changing directions is not failure. It's growth. And looking back at my own life, I'm so grateful that there were a lot of times I changed my mind and I did not feel guilty about it. There were seasons when I thought na I wanted a certain career path, but only to realize that maybe I just want it for the fame, for the title, only to realize months later that it didn't fulfill me. There were projects I started with so much excitement, only to lose passion halfway through. There were people I thought na I'd be friends with forever because they humbled me, only to watch us drift apart because they betrayed me. And at first, I felt guilty for wanting to change, for choosing differently. I felt like I owed it to my past self to stick it out, to choose it over and over again. But now, as an adult and as someone who's navigating adulthood, feeling ko I know better. So yes, you are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to let go of things that no longer align with who you are becoming. You are allowed to say, this is not for me anymore. And walk away with peace and love in your heart. Even if it means starting from scratch, even if it feels like you're back at square one. Because you're not really starting over naman. You're starting from experience. You're starting from wisdom. You're starting from where you are. And every time na I've allowed myself to change, every time that you allow yourself to change directions, to change decisions, to pivot, even when it scares you, God will meet you there. Because God met me there. New doors will open. New people will enter your life. New opportunities will come into your life. And looking back, I'm so grateful that I didn't let fear or pride keep me stuck in places na I know I didn't belong anymore. So if you're listening right now, I want you to listen with all your heart. And if you are in your 20s, or even just in a season of figuring things out, I hope that this episode reminds you of 3 things. First, take responsibility for your life, even when it's uncomfortable. Make choices that you are proud of. Second is trust your own timeline, please, even when it looks different from everybody else's. And third, do not be afraid to change your mind. Do not be afraid to pivot and start fresh when you need to, when you want to, and when your heart feels like doing. Again, you are doing better than you think. You are growing even in the messy days, even in the uncomfortable moments. And one day, you will look back at the season and realize na yung lahat ng confusion, lahat ng setbacks, lahat ng delays, lahat ng maliliit na wins, part pala yan ng story na ginagawa or sinusulat ni God sa buhay mo. And you know what? That same message is the one I wanna tell to myself. Kaya sa inyo ko to sinasabi because I wanna hear myself say it. Ayun, thank you for showing up today, for listening, and for taking steps, no matter how small, to keep moving forward. That's about it, everybody. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really, really appreciate you. It's an honor to always spend time with you. I believe that I've already been talking with you for siguro the past year. Consistently, like every single week, kahit malit lang ako ng isang araw, nagsishow up ako every week. And I know how deep our relationship is already. And thank you for always supporting the show. Thank you for always believing in me and for trusting me with your story and with your quiet moments. I see you. If you ever know someone who's going through this same season in their life, please do not hesitate to share this episode with them. And also share this sa stories nyo sa IG, sa Messenger, wherever. I'd really appreciate it. For the poll, I wanna ask, how's adulthood so far? I know that so many of my listeners here on the show are women na nasa 20-ish to 27 or late 20s ang ages. So, how's adulthood? If I get to be able to talk with you all, marami tayong pag-uusapan. Marami tayong mga lessons and wisdoms na may share together. But yeah, again, this has been your host and your friend, Risha. Know that I'm grateful for you. I've always been. And I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you big time. I'll see you soon. And until then, please don't forget to always keep moving. Bye.